I have been asked more than once to talk about the other mods that are on Ark Survival Ascended, so I figured why not be put it into an entire video. After much thought and playing around with other creature mods, this is a bunch of creature mods that you should have on your servers. Here's the thing, I will not be counting ports of vanilla creatures, so no Deinonychus or Griffin ports, as sad as I am about that. As well, I will be saying things that I like and don't like about each. Now, this is also in no particular order. I'm not saying this mod is better than that mod. This is just the order in which I typed out the script, all right? Ready? Okay, let's go. Up first is Dragon's Kingdom by Scorching Kami. This mod adds Game of Thrones style dragons that are actually really cool looking. One thing to note that I like straight out of the gate is that the Fire Breath is a region that can be colored or mutated. Yes, you heard that right. This mod currently has you knock out an ancient dragon, which is the tier 5 dragon. We'll get into the tiers here in just a second. And claiming the hatchling, much like vanilla wyverns, where you have to go capture the egg. Where things get different is that there are multiple stages of the dragon's life cycle that are still rideable, like I was just mentioning with the ancient one. These guys, these are tiers. Tier 1 being juvenile, Tier 2 being young, Tier 3 is adult, Tier 4 is elder, and finally Tier 5 is the aforementioned ancient tier. And yes, each tier goes up in base health, and the alphas having the most HP out of all of them. How you get the higher tiers is getting a black tooth from defeating the alphas. Currently, Kami is reworking the taming method for wild dragons. They will be required to feed the creature with sheep while it sleeps. The next step is reworking the breeding system. There's the hoping that this fix will fix the juvenile there's hoping that this will fix getting the juvenile stage when breeding the ancient stage, which is one gripe I have with the mod. Sorry, I got a little twisted there. This, of course, appears to be getting patched out in the near future, I'm hoping. I will, of course, have on screen what the planned things are. I'm honestly excited about the undead dragon boss. I mean, if these things are loosely based on Game of Thrones dragons, then oh boy, that's gonna get real insane real fast. Big Owl's Meraxes. This one is one of my favorite theropods added to the modded list. Meraxes is a very cool creature with an honestly terrifying taming method. You tame this dude by feeding it hatchlings. Why? I have no idea. Oh, and for the taming, I personally recommend either UTs or Gigas. I have used Rexes before, and that worked out just fine too. See my center Let's Play. Yeah, for that. Meraxes is an interesting one because as it is one of the few theropods that can move from side to side. You're still able to roar and bite. Speaking of which, the sounds of this creature are really cool and scary. I've honestly stopped moving and looked around for this thing when I hear it out on meat runs. The mechanics are quite fun as well. This creature has a healing ability that I personally don't have a lot of experience with, a stomp attack, and a rage mechanic much like Evo, Giga, and Acro. This thing glows bright orange and is invulnerable during it. The attack speed, I believe, is double, and if I remember correctly, probably not, this thing is also faster as far as movement. There's also a scorched variant of this creature that looks really cool too. Side note, Big Al did TLC the Karja and give it better movement and mechanics. It is not part of this list, but it is worth mentioning. I prefer it over the vanilla one. Very much so. Alright, up next, Tristan's Vectospinus. Now, Vectospinus is one of three of Tristan's creatures that I have, the other two being Iacoccaria and this guy. I'm going to pop him on screen. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but I'll pop him on screen. The other two have these various armor pieces that do different things and whatnot as far as like the creature itself, and they look really cool. But Vectospinus is something different. Now, it is a Spinosaurid that is a support for other Spinosaur creatures in the game. So Spinos and Baryonyx get a boost from this creature via its roar, which is used via right click, if I remember correctly. and it is also assumed that this buff will work with the upcoming Imperosaurus, who is due to drop in December along with its rival, Lita Mahadi. Despite it being a decently sized creature, I love it's surprisingly quick, and also there's just little details about it that I really love. Now, Vecti is tamed via getting shot with a railgun. While it isn't useful for any other creature in the game, it is a nice visual now, and also I don't have it in this footage, but Vectispinus also comes with a turret saddle, which you can use against bosses. And this creature overall is just really fun. Check out Dark Edge's video on Vectispinus if you want to see the turret saddle in action, along with the boosts, buffing up the Baryonyx and Spinosaurus in the center boss fight, I believe it was. But yeah, go check out that video. It's really good. I'm going to plug Rebecca probably a few more times because her videos showcase every detail of these creatures, and it is something that I don't fully have access to with my very minimal footage here, at least for this video. But yeah, that's Vectispinus. Let me know what you guys think of all the creatures so far in the comment section below. All right, let's go. The next one. Up next, we have Moronada's Nothosaurus. Now, Nothosaurus is a snake-like lightning lizard. Oh man, say that 3 times fast. Like, honestly, it's pretty clear-cut as far as like what the thing looks like. This guy is also amazing. It's dope in the water, pretty mid on land, honestly. But holy cow, the abilities are top-notch. I haven't even used all of them. Now, again, go see Dark Edge TV's video on the creature. She breaks down most of its powers. Now, these guys are tamed via electric generators. It will bite down on them and absorb the power from them. They are destroyed each time, or unless you're on my server and it bites at one time and tames off of one bite, which is insane, to be honest. And it is recommended you use more than one generator otherwise. And no, you can't use the tech gen. Trust me, I tried. I like Nothosaurus. It's the only thing I like to see different is make it more clear how many generators it needs. Now, like I just said, I managed to recently tame one on a boosted server with just one generator and it wasn't completely destroyed. So I would personally like to see it be more clear, hey, this level Nothosaurus requires this many generators, or so on and so forth. Because that would be very nice to just know for sure, hey, like a pop-up, this Nothosaurus requires 3 generators or 4 generators or something like that. And you know what, this thing, because it is so great in the water, I do use it as my water travel mount, and you can also shoot off the back of it. So taming creatures is actually really fun, and is also quite easy due to this creature's maneuverabilities. This guy's a lot of fun. All of Moronada's creatures are very fun. Tylosaurus is another one. It's a mosasaur with venom abilities, which is honestly kind of one of the best looking mosasaurs in the game right now. Well, until Evo Mosasaurus comes into the game anyway. And Moronada also has the Moro Rex and the Moro Raptor, which are, come on, you guys already know what they are. But speaking of those two, they are getting a model remake very soon. I've seen the early whips. Moronada that did show those off. I'll pop them on screen if I remember to do so. But all of Moro's creatures are really cool, but there's something really special about Nothosaurus that I just enjoy the heck out of. Yeah, check them out. Check it out if you haven't. 10 out of 10, do recommend. Nothosaurus is a 10 out of 10 creature for sure. Okay, up next is an a difficult one to get footage for because of what kind of mod it is. But up next we have Archology New Encounters by Dragonheart. The Archology mod is one of my favorites, straight up. This mod fills in a specific spot of not only adding beautiful variants of vanilla creatures, but also alphas of specific creatures and even herbivores like the Trike, Bronto, and Therizino. Dragon has also added mini bosses for each of the paid DLC maps, and like 3 or 4 of them I believe on the island. I want to say it's Giga, Karcha, and Titanosaurus. Yes, the Titanosaur is a mini boss. If I remember correctly, the Rock Elemental is the one for Scorched, and the Reaper for Aberration. There's a ton of creatures in this mod, so many that it's actually overwhelming. All the Aberration creatures plus the guys on Scorched and the Island have variants. Dragon is really going down the list of all the creatures in ASA. But that's not all. There's a bunch of new creatures on the way that aren't attached to any one arc map. Proper-ish. Mini bosses are coming to, starting with the Desola Titan, if I'm saying that right. A massive Rex-like creature that is based on early looks, will be a force to be reckoned with. This creature, apparently, will also be tameable after defeating a wild one, if I remember this correctly. Desola won't be the only one. There's a ton of them coming, with this guy being the first. Archology is one of the biggest mods I've ever played with, and still I haven't tamed every single one in the mod. That's the insane part. I could maybe call that a bad thing, but it's not really the case. You got options on what creatures you want at your base. Personally, I would want a bunch of Archology guys on mine. Now, on screen here, I mean, except with the exception of the bush just in the way right there, these are all the Archology creatures that I have tamed currently. And as I just said, this doesn't even scratch the surface. There's the aberrant creatures, there's the scorched creatures, which I have a couple of, but not all of them. But yeah, Archology is super freaking cool. It's super massive, and it's also very intimidating. Hey, look, Parasaur and Rex and all that stuff. But yeah, that is the Archology mod, which is seriously cool. 10 out of 10, do recommend. Wild Waghorn's Civitherium. Okay, I'll keep it a buck with you guys. I've barely played with Civitherium as I'm writing this script. The Civitherium is an adorable yet intimidating addition to the collective, a passive tame that will piss off the natives when fed due to the creature's nature. That is insane, but once tamed, it is a very useful critter indeed. A built-in super spyglass, a sitting stance that doubles as a damage debuff, and it is also very fast on land. And apparently also spawns on Ab, though I'm not sure on that as I'm not playing on that map at this moment. Now, Civitherium is very cool. Now, Becca goes into greater detail on this creature, and in her video, definitely check it out if you haven't. 10 out of 10 do recommend, but Civitherium is fun. Now, just me running around with it on this footage, I don't really show off all of its abilities, but I did have a thought going into this thing, and that was, well, with it, if you were to give it wyvern milk and veggie cakes, how effective would this thing be against the Evo Giga as far as taming is concerned? Because it's 80% damage reduction, right? So, I was very curious as to how the Civitherium would do, so I went ahead and checked that out. And I wasn't going to put this in the video originally, but I said, you know what, screw it, let's do it. But you know what, I was having some HUD mishaps earlier, because for some reason there's small glitches here and there where information would disappear. So I didn't know, specific, like, hey, the wyvern milk buff is lasting this long, and so much and all that stuff. What? But yeah, this is me in action checking out the Civitherium versus, the Evo Giga. And you know what? I didn't record all of it, but yes, I did manage to knock out the Evo Giga using the Civitherium's little damage debuff thing, along with the wyvern milk and along with the veggie cakes. It was very effective. So if you have a good set, and plus good saddle, of course. But yeah, that is Civitherium. Super cute, super adorable creature, and very useful for tanking damage, as you can see. I mean, Evo Giga, right? Good grief, man. Holy cow. Okay, so before we get into the final two, I want to get some honorable mentions out of the way. Now, these creatures are really good. I just didn't put them on the list because, well, I'll be honest, one of them is a premium mod, so don't really want to talk about that too much. But some of the honorable mentions go to Draconis Glaucus, which is a water wyvern, which is tamed via a 1v1 after giving it jellyfish, which spawn around the creature, which is really cool. Diamantinosaurus, which is a passive fed herbivore that is very, very useful, can gather up pretty much any and all resources, has different saddle attachments that do different things, as well as the fact that this thing passively makes medical brews, which if you're on a PvP server, that's going to be really, really good because, you know, medical brews are fantastic for all situations where you would quickly need healing. And finally, there is Moro's Leviathan, or Leviathan? I don't know how to pronounce that thing, but the giant whale thing, that's a premium mod. It's the one that I just mentioned earlier that couldn't make the list. I like this thing. I haven't fully played with it, as it is locked to single player until a time where you can put premium mods on your servers without, you know, having to purchase them yourselves. And, you know, if you have them purchased, you can interact with them. But if you don't, then they're just there. You know, that little patch hasn't come into the game just yet, so I'm kind of waiting for that before I do. But the minimal time I have had with Leviathan, it's really, really cool. It's a giant whale, very terrifying to find in the water. But again, and again, check out Rebecca's video on Leviathan. It is a super, super cool creature. Actually, she has 2 videos on Leviathan. I have mentioned them before in videos. But hey, check them out. 10 out of 10, do recommend. I recommend all these creatures, in fact. But I will also say, I mentioned it earlier, Big Al's Karcher rework. I'll throw them here. Because, I mean, Karch is a creature that is in vanilla. It technically counts, technically speaking. But, you know, there is a big one. There's also a little one, a smaller one, which I personally would end up using a lot more. But yeah, that's really, really good. You know, better movement, a better roar. You know, I like the power walk that it has. It's really, really fun. And also, it just lines up with, you know, our other modded creatures just a whole lot better, like Evo Rex, Evo Giga, Acro, and a lot of the big carnivores that are from the modded circuit. But yeah, that's all for the honorable mentions here. I just wanted to chime those in real fast. And of course, let's get into now the final 2 mods, which, if you guys know me, you probably know what they are. But let's get into them anyway. Number 7, Additions Ascended by Garuga123. Come on, y'all knew this one was going to be on this list at some point. Arc Additions, or Additions Ascended for ASA, is one of the best creature mods in ASE, and of course, it had to make a return in ASA. While each creature is separated thanks to the file limitations on CurseForge, each creature is fantastic in its own right. Plus, each creature is also slowly coming into the base game. However, the mods are still accessible, so it's on the list. Acrocanthosaurus, Archelon, Brachiosaurus, Ceratosaurus, Deinosuchus, Helicoprion, Zephactinus, Cryolophosaurus, and Concavenator are all very fun creatures. It is worth noting that those last 2 and Brachy are getting TLCs before coming into the base game. We've seen Brachy's new model. See this video to hear my thoughts on it. There's nothing as so far for Cryo and Conca, but I have faith that Garuga will cook with both of them. What makes AA so much fun is that most of the creatures of the cast are not knockout tames, Ziff being the only one. There's a passive tame of some kind, or some advanced madness. Acro and Brachy, for example, having you shoot the creature while it's in a special stance. Cerato needs to attack your creature while Cerato needs to attack your creature while a cocktail is active on it. Cryo, you shoot in the mouth while it's using its ice breath. Conca quite literally getting blown out of the ground. Again, those last 2 are getting big changes along with the TLC. If you're not using any of these mods, you're missing out. I do recommend them because the variants from ASE are in the mod, not official. This is a 10 out of 10 mod series. You should absolutely have these. Come on now. Now, did I get to that footage yet? No, I hadn't, but of course, these creatures are all fantastic. Acro being the number 1, probably the most beloved out of all of them, thanks in part to PaleoArch's the PaleoArch series back in ASE, with Yellow Jacket being the primary antagonist of the series as an invasive species of, well, the Ark. And right here you can see I did collect all of the different creatures that are currently in ASA in the Brachy, Ziv, Helicoprion, Archelon, and all of those guys. You did get a good look at all of them. All of them all have a unique shtick that make them different from your standard fair creature. But again, really cool creatures. Check them out if you haven't. But again, if you guys know me, you probably have a general idea on what the #1 spot is. I mean, come on now. You already know. And of course, the final mod is PaleoArch Editions. Now, I just kind of gave it that name because there is actually a series of mods, one of which isn't out yet. There is the Evo Plus Species and Evolution mods, which are currently the only ones accessible right now. And then there's the PaleoArch Ascension, which is the variants like Archology, but PaleoArch, Trixstego, etc. Now, I love this thing. I freaking love this thing, but let's get into the script here, just so I'm not off rip here. Again, y'all knew this was coming. PaleoArch, as back in ASE, was mostly cool-looking dinosaurs with some quality of life changes attached for some. With some Kraken's better tie-ins, Trikes are bigger, Stego has a bellow, Dilo is varying in size, and so much more. Along with the ever so famous Giga TLC that I would say put this mod on the map, coming over to ASA, not only did the Giga get another TLC, the Rex, along with many other creatures of the creature cast, are getting the TLC treatment, with PaleoArch Evolution. This mod also splits into smaller packs, Apex Predators housing the Giga and Rex. The upcoming Dangerous Depths will include at some point the Moza Plesiosaur / Elasmo, Megalodon, Leopleurodon, and Douglastius. Evo Plus adds totally new creatures like the Cryptocleidos, the upcoming Imperasaurus, and Leda Mahadi. Ascension is that cool creatures with quality of life changes that was mentioned before. Currently, this mod is not out as there have been some issues behind the scenes preventing release. Depths and the Paleo team are committed to doing what they can to get the stuff out they're working on as in the best quality possible. That's why what I love about these folks. They work their butts off to bring quality to the game for free, might I add. It is also thanks to the team that I gained my audience. So of course, Up from the Depths and the Paleo team, all 20 plus of them, are here. And you know what? These guys are #1 for that reason. I gained my audience because of them, and they're also super cool. They took me in, and I appreciate them very much. Now, of course I am biased, but as well, the typical YouTube thing. This is my video, so but you guys know how much I love and cherish this mod, especially the creatures in it. Now there currently are only 3. That being the Evo Giga, the Evo Rex, technically the Paleo Rex, and Cryptocleidos. So technically 4 creatures. But the Paleo mod is fantastic. And you know what? I would be beside myself if I didn't mention it. And of course, the blue and white being the Paleo Rexes, and the red and white being the regular Evo Rexes. Super freaking cool. There's so much coming to this mod that I'm just very excited about. Check out my playlist if you haven't already. I make news videos for PaleoArch. Check those out if you haven't. And yeah, that is the list. Holy cow, this took forever to make. But let's go ahead and close things out, shall we? All right, my friends, that is all for this video. This one took a long time to make, and especially a long time to record, my goodness. And while I won't be able to link all of the mods below, I will be linking, at the very least, CurseForge down below into the video. As I just said, this video took a very long time, and I appreciate every last one of you for watching all the way to this point. Let me know in the comment section which mods you are a fan of. Any of the ones on this list? Let me know. Thank you all so much for watching, and of course, I will see you all in the next one. Have a good one. And also, just real quick while I have you guys, thank you all so much for 21 2,140 subscribers. You guys are all fantastic individuals. I love you guys, and take care.